Sponsored by Telomobile. 2020. It's been a train wreck of a year to the point where even pointing that out has become a bit of a cliche, but as awful as it's mostly been, 2020 has had some pretty awesome mobile tech. That said though, not every Android brand has thrived at the start of this new decade. So let's take a look at the Android winners and losers of 2020, who knocked it out of the park and who has a lot of work left to do in 2021. The audience for ultra-expensive flagships obviously shrunk in a year where everyone has been cutting down on spending. The Note 20 Ultra is great if you have the cash, but fewer people do these days. Regardless, Samsung still excelled in this very challenging market. The Galaxy S20 FE is our current pick for best Android phone overall, and the new Fan Edition lineup, which reportedly has sold in huge numbers, bodes well for the future where phone buyers want a premium experience without paying top dollar. But it was really the foldable space that cemented Samsung's position as the top dog in the Android world. Sure, other companies had dual-screen phones and other novel form factors with multiple displays, but the only ones really worth buying came from Samsung. The Galaxy Z Flip showed that clamshell phones could make a triumphant return, packing a regular-sized phone into a smaller space, and the Z Fold 2 fulfilled the promise of a foldable tablet, a miniature slate that folds down into a pocket-sized slab. And in places like Europe, Samsung has also benefited from the decline of the next company on our list. So Huawei made some phenomenal phones in 2020. It launched two devices with 10x telephoto zoom cameras, along with arguably the most capable main camera in any smartphone. If you're after the most technically proficient Android phone, it is unquestionably the Huawei Mate 40 Pro Plus, with its smorgasbord of sensors, lenses, and software processing trickery, along with just oodles of horsepower in general. But the problem, through no fault of these phones themselves, is that Huawei isn't allowed to use any US technology. It's on the US's entity list due to alleged ties to the Chinese government, so there's no Google Play, making the app situation very difficult. Huawei's trying to build out its own ecosystem, but it is still early days, and even if you can find the apps elsewhere, it's slow going getting devs to update them with support for Huawei mobile services, so they work just as well as they do on a Google Android phone. Huawei's flagships this year were tragically brilliant. In an alternate universe where they do have Google services, they'd be among the best phones on the planet, but right now the company's entire output is tough to recommend. Maybe that'll change in 2021, but we're not holding our breath just yet. Google fumbled the Pixel 4 series badly in 2019, with dire battery life and useless motion gesture gimmicks, so in 2020 it's heartening to see 3 of the best Pixels ever. Mainly because Google seems to have taken a long hard look at what the Pixel series needs to be, and the conclusion seems to be it's not a super expensive flagship phone anymore. The Pixel 4a is a better phone than it has any right to be for just $350, building on the strong performance of last year's Pixel 3a. The 4a 5G adds a bigger battery, faster processor, and better cameras for a little bit more, and the Pixel 5, Google's flagship for the year, is a speedy, excellent little bundle of fun that's made me appreciate using a small phone again. Across all 3, you have that superb Google software experience led by the Assistant, which itself grew a bunch of useful Pixel-exclusive features, things like Hold for Me, to do away with annoying periods spent on hold, and in the 2 top-end models, the Pixel camera finally got an ultra-wide camera. This is the best the Pixel series has ever been, and I'm excited for what Google's got coming in 2021. This video is sponsored by Telomobile. Here's the thing that nobody tells you. You can afford the latest phone if you're smart enough to save on your phone bill. With Telomobile, you never pay for more than what you use, and what you use is absolutely your call. Telo gives the controller to the customer, so you get to build your own plan and add minutes and data as you please. Popular options include unlimited talk and text plus 1GB for $10 a month, 4GB for $19 a month, and 8GB for $29 a month. No fees whatsoever. What Telo's basically saying is anything your carrier can do, we can do better, and cheaper. That means no contract, great website, pay-as-you-go payment, free hotspot, and human customer service. When you find the right smartphone that completes you, no need to worry, you can bring it to Telo while keeping your number. Point taken. Get more for less with Telomobile and use those extra savings on your phone bill to finally get your hands on the smartphone you want. Oppo's hardware and software improved across the board in 2020 as it looked to fill the Huawei-sized gap in the European and Asian markets. The Find X2 Pro, one of my personal favourites from the past year, combined one of 2020's best 120Hz displays with a lightweight design, super fast charging, and a phenomenal camera setup including 5x optical zoom. But the main reason the Find X2 Pro was better than any previous Oppo phone was the software. ColorOS 7.1 and the new ColorOS 11 is fast, looks great and has its own distinctive visual style without it being obnoxious or clunky. And the company also improved on its previously dismal update track record by matching pace with Samsung for Android 11 updates on its flagship phones. There's a Find X3 Pro rumored to be coming early next year, and I'm pretty thrilled to see what they have in store. That said, when it comes to 5G phones in general, let's be perfectly honest here. As soon as much of the world went into lockdown, it was clear 5G as a feature was going to be a very hard sell. And as much as 5G networks have grown in 2020 despite the pandemic, the case for an expensive phone with ultra-fast data is hard to make when you're stuck indoors much of the time, and perhaps your confidence in spending large amounts of money isn't as great as it was 12 months ago. There are a lot of really solid Android phones at a lot of different price points, and exactly none of them are great because of 5G. And while many networks like Verizon in the US have rolled out wider-ranging sub-6 5G, boosting the coverage of that signal, the much faster millimeter wave has grown at a snail's pace, severely limiting the very quickest wireless data. For everyone else, the fastest LTE speeds still aren't really perceptibly different to an average sub-6 5G network, plus either way pretty much no one is doing uploads over 5G yet, these are all download speeds. Add in the battery costs of 5G and for most enthusiasts it's just not a compelling reason to update yet. We'll get there for sure, and at some point 5G will be amazing, but this just wasn't its year. I'll end on a bit of an odd one. On one hand, OnePlus put out its best phones yet in 2020. The 8 Pro, 8T and Nord were legitimately fantastic. The 8 Pro in particular shows how OnePlus can now match blows with the likes of Samsung at the high end, with its best smartphone cameras ever, fast Android updates, and modern conveniences like wireless charging. But on the other hand, the company pivoted from the 8 series launch directly into mass layoffs among its European staff, which was rightly criticised this spring for its timing, right in the middle of the first wave of the pandemic. It also lost co-founder Carl Pei, who for a long time was the public face of OnePlus, especially in the West. He's now launching his own audio startup in London, and OnePlus has drawn criticism for the design of its new OxygenOS 11 software, which some have said is a regression over the previous versions, amid claims it's copying the design language of Samsung's One UI. Then later in the year we had the budget-focused Nord N10 and N100 launching in the US, which were kind of a big load of nothing compared to the excellent original Nord that had arrived in Europe over the summer. OnePlus used to mean fast performance, clean software, and quick updates, and a lot of the developments this year seem to be moving away from that. Let's hope OnePlus builds on the right things as it moves into 2021. That's it for now. Hit the comments and let us know who you think triumphed and floundered in 2020. Subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming Galaxy S21 coverage. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.